Welcome to Anselmo Academy of Music and the Arts, and we are live on Facebook and sending everyone greetings from New York City. Today we present a special feature of a concert duo who are guests at our online broadcast, Andrii Didorenko, who is violinist and composer, and Yuliya Basis, the pianist. They are duo professionally and a duo in personal life as well. Welcome, you guys. Say hello.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks
Yes.
for having me.
Of course, yes, it's an honor. We will be sharing our guest bios, photos, videos, picture galleries, and a dialogue shortly. But before that, we have some brief announcements from Anselmo Academy. This is our 5th year of welcoming national and international musicians to our monthly online broadcast, from talented students to esteemed pedagogues to guest concert performers, composers, and more. Our fall semester is open for private lessons, and we offer private lessons throughout New York and New Jersey. We also offer multiple group class programs that we organize at local schools and communities. Please connect with us at our website, anselmoacademy.org. Anselmo Academy is a nonprofit 501c3 organization, and our specialty for 23 years has been in providing this kind of group classes at local schools and communities. Many of our programs are partial scholarship based or scholarship based. Many discounted classes exist today in New York City, in the Bronx, in Queens, and Brooklyn, New Jersey, Rockland County, and Westchester. And besides music classes, we also have acting classes and musical theater. Please subscribe to our social media channels. And also we have 2 e-newsletters that you could find at our website on the homepage, bottom right. First newsletter is called Academy Newsletter, and second one is called On Stage. And you'll receive notifications about not only our internal happenings, but also about events just like this one today. And we hope you enjoy our program. Can we please have Andy's picture? We actually created a little gallery of your profile pictures on the screen as I go through your bios.
How nice.
Wonderful. Violinist and composer Andrii Didorenko was born in Dnipro, Ukraine, to a family of professional violinists. He took his first violin lessons with his parents and made his debut with an orchestra at the age of 10. He then went on to receive his graduate and postgraduate degrees from Moscow Tchaikovsky Conservatory. After that, he had lived in Taiwan, where he taught, performed, and debuted as a composer. Then in 2006, he moved to the US, where most of his works have been premiered, published, and recorded. Among his compositions are virtuoso pieces for solo, violin, and double concerto, various chamber works, and student pieces. Since the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Andy has written various pieces based on and inspired by Ukrainian folk music styles, including an anti-war ballet, Five Stalks of Wheat, premiered by Labyrinth Dance Theater in April 2023. Yuliya Basis is a sought-after collaborative pianist and educator from Oryol, Russia. She serves on the piano faculty of the United Nations International School and the British International School of New York. She has worked as an accompanist at Kaufman Music Center for over 20 years and appeared in recitals at numerous New York City venues as well as abroad. She's an avid chamber musician. Yuliya performed a duet with her husband and fellow Tchaikovsky Conservatory graduate. Andrii Didorenko. And in 2002, they have performed, since 2002, apologies, they perform in US, Taiwan, Ukraine, and Russia, and released two albums, Go for Sonatas in 2008 and Intervals in 2013, featuring Andy's classical works. They have also toured with Andy's contemporary rock fusion ensemble called Lost World Band, which has released several critically acclaimed albums. Since February 24, 2022, the duo participated in many fundraising events to aid Ukraine. Now we're going to listen to a video called A Flame, and it's a composition by Andy. Take a look. So that was Greek violin sonata. We had technical difficulties playing a flame and trying to fix it. So stay tuned as we hoping to be able to play it. Either Andrii or Yuliya, please tell us a little bit what you played, where it was, when it was. You look like you were 12 years old. Go ahead.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Do you want to start? Sure, sure. This, as you said, of course, is a part of the Greek sonata, number 3. And this was one of our earliest chamber recitals as husband and wife. This is actually taken place in Taiwan in very early 2003. I'm afraid to say the number. In the cultural center of Kaohsiung City, where Andy worked as a violinist and a teacher. And when we were first married, I came there to live and took Mandarin lessons and also taught piano. And of course, we performed together. That's a first taste of a chamber recital together.
Wonderful. Yes, Josh, are we ready to play a flame or not? Feel free to let us know.
Let's try.
Okay. I'm so glad I'm not responsible for any of this.
That's technology. It's
Yeah.
there you go.
Great. Andy, tell us a little bit about this piece. Yes, please.
This piece is called A Flame. It's one of the numbers from the Amusements Volume 3. It's a collection of very short pieces that I wrote. This one is from the last year,
No, it's 2022.
2022, right? This is 2022. This particular piece is inspired, actually, interestingly, by fusion flamenco dancer. I got this idea when we were in Spain, and there was this wonderful performance of a flamenco fusion. It's a contemporary dance fusion where the lady kind of starts from almost nothing. She doesn't really move, and it's huge progression when she just starts moving a little bit, and then it goes more and more, and she goes into this ecstatic dance, which is like a fire spreading, and then basically, and then it dies at the end too. It's amazing. I mean, that the whole I actually feel that the connection between music and the dance is huge, and you mentioned the ballet, which I wrote into the last year, the Ukrainian Five Stalks of Wheat. Again, we were working with the dancer. It was a solo piece for the solo dancer and the music. So yeah, I love that actually. It really that how the music connects with the movement and how the movement talk basically.
That is wonderful. Yes.
So there you go. Yeah.
Yes, we are now moving on to the dialogue section of our program. So, Andy, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about growing up in Ukraine, your education, teachers, mentors, and how your life story resonates in today's existence in New York, both personally and professionally.
That's so long.
Yeah.
Well, I was born in the family of professional musicians, as my bio says. Right, and the thing is, my dad met my mom in the conservatory in Kharkov, in Ukraine. My mom was practicing. The story is that my mom was in a corridor practicing Shostakovich concerto, and my dad, who's a younger guy, was just passing by, and we just start chatting, and my mom said, "Would you don't just chat? Could you just sit down and accompany me my concerto, on the piano?" And my dad, because he was actually double major in violin at the piano. So yes, so they went into the classroom. She played the Shostakovich first concerto, and he sat down and sight read the piano part for that. And yes, my mom was very, very impressed at that moment. So yeah, that's how they met. So they had two kids. They had my brother first, who is 7 years older. And because they were both violin players, of course, it was like career very clear.
Yeah.
So my brother was first, and they really taught him, very, they wanted him to really become a great violin player, which he did. And so I was the second one. So my very early memories is where my brother is practicing. And I thought probably that it's a good idea. So I didn't really resist much. Yes, I thought it's a good way to express yourself. So yeah, so my brother went to Moscow to study first, and my parents sort of took turn who's gonna teach me. My mom started first, because first you learn the easy songs and the simple concertos. So my mom did that, and then I think when I was 10, when I had to perform the Bach with the orchestra, because I won some local little competition. Then my dad took over, and started really like, those 2 hours a day practices. And so yeah, so I played that Bach with the orchestra. That was my debut, and it felt really nice. So yeah, so after that, so basically there was my mom, then my dad who were my teachers. After that, I went to study to the college. I was 15, and then the Moscow Conservatory, right? 1990. Great. Okay, I forgot. What else were there in the question? What's your life?
Yeah, how your life story resonates in today's existence in New York, both personally and professionally.
I mean, basically I keep doing what I was doing before. It's very to me it's the strangest thing, and it's a great thing because after the Moscow, I went to work in Taiwan, and in the orchestra, I played the audition. I went to work there, and the very first thing we played in Taiwan was Tchaikovsky's Serenade for Strings in Taiwan. But it was the thing we played in Moscow all the time. So it's kind of, it connects you. It's very strange, when you are on a different side of the world, you're playing that string serenade, and then you go like it's a 12-hour flight, and you land, and you're in a different group of completely different people, but you still play that same serenade, meaning that it connects us so much. It connects people who've never met ever, and probably never will. But somehow it's and the same. We're doing the same thing, and it's very similar to New York here, because we continue to play that classical music and compose. Of course, we have new influences. New York, it has its own vibe. It's a fantastic place to be. As a musician, there's so many different cultures. It all blends together like melting pot. So and I love being in New York. But basically, we keep playing the same scales.
Yeah. Sounds great. A question for Yuliya. Tell us about your upbringing, your musical life back in Russia, and now your life as a pianist and educator here in New York.
Of course. So I also grew up in a family of professional musicians. In my case, it was always my idea of the family unit where there is a violinist and a pianist, because that's what I saw from a very early age. My parents rehearsing together, teaching. My dad, an amazing violin and viola teacher. My mom, amazing pianist and educator. And so this is what I grew up seeing and hearing. Yeah. And I didn't take my practicing very seriously. Maybe I shouldn't say it in front of a student audience, but at some point I started to. When I was about 14, the perspective to go and study in Moscow, the most prestigious music college,
in the world.
With that perspective looming,
Mm-hmm.
my ambition kicked in, and my, I guess, working hard mode kicked in, and I practiced enough to get myself into the music college and later in the conservatory. And my closest friends and my life partner, they all come from there, from those years. When my family moved to New York in '99, I was the most English speaking person in my family. And we were very lucky to have found jobs. My dad began to teach. I began to accompany. My sister went on to study violin. I pianist who's also a violin. Our family, you are either a violinist or a pianist. Right? And so accompanying has always been a huge part of my professional life. So it was never only teaching. I knew early on that I wasn't a solo pianist necessarily as much as I was a collaborative pianist. I loved company. I felt more secure on stage in company rather than on my own. And playing for young students of other instruments really taught me to listen. So that's what I keep doing. And I do continue to do both teaching and accompanying. And yeah, it's a huge part of who I am.
Wonderful. Next question to you as a duo. What are your aspirations and what message are you sending to the world?
Yes.
What is the message?
What is the message? Oh, you know, the message, the main message is we're sharing beauty. You know, we want to spread the message of beauty, love and peace idea, you know, just sharing, right? Am I right?
Sharing love to classical music.
Not only classical.
Sharing them, as a composer, I share my ideas, you know, the way I see how I like music to sound at this moment. I mean, we love Greek sonata, but it has been a while since it's been written. But at this moment, say this flame thing, I mean, it was inspired and written right now. So that's what we do too.
Yes, sharing ideas. As for aspirations, if I may say, you know, I would like us to live long and be healthy enough to keep doing it for a good long time. I just want to keep doing that.
I want to play a recital when I'm 95.
Exactly.
It's wonderful.
That
would be actually good.
Just more of the same good thing. Just keep making music is what we want.
Fantastic. Really great. And next question, tell us about your band and how did it come about? And yes, tell us the story of how the band started. Go ahead.
Can you see the keyboards and there's the guitars there and microphones? Yes. Yeah, I think I was 14 or 15, you know, and I was a huge I love Beatles, and that I grew up with classic rock. So just at that time, there was finally more freedom in those 80s. So it was freedom, and the music, the rock music started to come into Soviet Union at that time. Yeah, so I love that energy, you know. It's just I used to dance to it when I was 6, something like this.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so I really loved it, and when I came to study in Moscow, I was looking for people who wanna do the same thing, right? Who wanna plus the classical music, of course, you have to practice, but there's something else out there which gives you that super energy and, you know, outlet for more.
Tell me a little bit describe more. So what is the difference between you playing with Yuliya, duo, and then you have your rock fusion band where Yuliya is also part of? What is the difference? What do you think?
She plays all the keyboards, yes, and sings a little bit. So it's not much different. I mean, it's louder. It is much louder.
Yes.
And, when we first rehearsed, we had the flute player and me playing violin, and we put the drummer and the bass player, and started just we were a little bit shocked, you know, how loud that is. But eventually you get used to it. You have some monitors and kind of, you know, that it's going to be loud. Yeah. But I mean, I used to think that it's a big difference. You know, classical music is very, you know, you put a tuxedo and a white shirt and you do Mozart very carefully. And this is sort of the rock music is freedom. There's you can do anything.
Yeah, louder, freedom. Yes.
Some things are not that different. You still have to practice, children. You still have to practice.
You still have to practice. And what actually turns out is that when you play rock music, you have to be very much on time.
Yeah.
You know, with the classical, you will say, play with the metronome, play with the
So
metronome.
no rubato.
Yes, but
Interesting.
yes,
Yeah.
and it's
That's interesting. I never thought about that. That's a very
You put the drummer and you realize how off time classical music is. You know, all this
of course.
all this rubato that we learn to do, you know, to express ourselves, and then suddenly you have and
Yes.
so much time. So
Yeah. Fantastic. So tell us about your upcoming events for the band or your duo. Please share.
Yes, Yulia,
Sure.
what are we gonna do next?
We do have pretty eventful September, October.
Louder, Yulia. A little louder. Yeah.
Of course. So
Yeah, better.
I'm saying we have an eventful September. Next weekend we're presenting Andy's full, complete amusements, the 3-volume set of those miniatures that A Flame is a part of. And we're playing at 2 venues. One in Brooklyn on the 14th. It's a group muse concert, which is kind of a salon concert. Yeah. And
which is great new, relatively new platform. Yeah.
And the very next day, Sunday the 15th, we're playing that at Clavier House Salon Concerts. That date was actually booked for us by the late great Joe Patridge, that New York knew and loved.
Yeah.
So we're very, you know, it's bittersweet, but we're grateful that we're getting to play that. And the following weekend, there are very interesting events. On the 20th, for example, we participate in the fundraiser for Ukrainian Contemporary Music Festival that we've been playing for almost since its very start, from 1920. Oh, 2020. I know. Yes.
Yeah.
And then on the 21st, we're doing a fundraiser for Helping Hands for Ukraine. That's an organization that delivers medicine and medical aid to Ukraine. That will be also in a piano store in Forte Piano Music Company in Paramus, New Jersey, and another fundraiser the next day. So yeah,
so you're busy, yeah.
We do a lot of that. We're grateful to do that.
It was a band. Last year, we released a new CD. So basically, that's what we're doing now. It's more recording, and I'm working on the album of which we wrote a long time ago, but we never really properly recorded. So basically, the band is now recording more than playing. Like we probably once we've done all the recordings, then we can learn all that and maybe hopefully play some concerts with that.
That was great. And the last question for the dialogue part: what advice would you give to your younger self, Andy?
That's a good question. I would tell myself not to worry too much, that things are gonna be fine. It's an interesting, it's a very interesting question, because you cannot really change the past, or you cannot really be angry with your past. It's like looking at yourself younger and saying, "Oh my God, you're doing everything wrong." So, but on the other hand, it's like I have a little bit. I don't really like flying, So if I can tell myself that it's gonna be fine, all the flights, I'm gonna pull through, I'm gonna be okay. That would help me. So I would say just sort of don't worry too much. Enjoy the moment. Create practice a little harder, a little more, practice a little more. But things are gonna work out just fine.
Yulia.
Well, I would say to myself, try making music with this guy. You might enjoy it, because when we first dated, we were in our teens, you know, and because we discovered love, we forgot about our studies a little bit. Well, I definitely did. And it did not occur to us as students that we could play together. We really only discovered that this was one of the fun activities we could share when we were married. So I could, you know, to myself at 18, I would say, why don't you try accompanying him or something? Yeah,
chamber music.
Chamber music. Yeah,
chamber music is a great thing.
We might have discovered it earlier as one of the things we could share.
Wonderful. Yes, thank you so much. Next, we're going to play Andy's composition, Postcards from Ukraine.
Okay.
I love the name. Great. Please tell us a little bit about this piece. Either one of you. Yeah.
Yeah, it was written right at the say March 2022. I have a friend. She's a wonderful pianist, Evelyn Lust, and she wanted to commission right after the beginning of the war something for the cello and piano, based on Ukrainian tunes. And I wrote it, I think, in 3 weeks, something like this, very fast. And then I decided, you know, it kind of sounds like a nice piece, so I made the arrangement for the violin and piano. But
well, originally it's cello and piano.
So there's a two, and it was actually published last year, 2 versions for cello and piano, and for violin and piano. I'm glad it got published. It was the opportunity for me to work with the, you know, with the raw songs. It's fabulous. You know, I done some research. Obviously, I couldn't go there like Bartok had the luxury to go and do the research. So I did the internet research for those very authentic folk ensembles. You know, like old ladies getting together and singing a cappella. basically you heard now it's a lot of music and double stops and things, but what I had as the material was a da 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 dee, da da. That's basically it. But it's such a gold nugget of music, that it's like a seed. You could grow trees out of that. But that's a real privilege, to look and to listen to that. That's like a water where the river starts from. That's a little source.
Riverhead, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yeah.
yeah, and that was amazing, just because the material that those tunes were so soulful, so melodic, so rich, so I was just so inspired, and immediately, you find, and you don't want to ruin them, so you're trying to get like the best sort of like a frame for them, that the kind of like for the diamond, encrusting it. So yes, so basically I took melodies, I developed them, I added the piano part and the violin, a little bit violin tricks and things like that.
Oh, great. We're now going to move to the picture gallery that we have. And as we go through, say a couple of words. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, here you go.
Yes.
This is not this is not a concert event. This is really a family event. So just just a portrait that we liked to share because we're young.
Yeah, beautiful picture. Yeah.
I find it, very heartwarming to look back at these. So we were just, in the midst of our family. It was a celebration. There's
2008.
something like that. Something like that.
Yeah. Great. Next.
This is the big one. This is, for me, it was very, very big deal, because what happens here is that I wrote, that's my very first big piece, which was called the Fantasy, on the themes from the Jesus Christ Superstar, Sir Weber's opera, rock opera. So so following the footsteps of other violin players, I wrote the Fantasy. Again, you take the melodies that you like, you develop them, but that was really big deal because it was orchestrated for the big full symphony orchestra, and this is my premiere of that piece in Taiwan.
Yeah. Was it still in Taiwan? Okay. Yeah, I was wondering where it was. Okay, great. Next.
Yeah, still Taiwan.
Yeah. Oh, that's a fun one. He's wearing a mask because this picture is taken to introduce his pretty recent fantasy also on the themes of an operetta, The Circus Princess by Imre Kalman. And the story of the operetta, as you know, because it was wildly popular as a movie in the former Soviet Union, is that the title character is a young noblewoman in love with an incognito, also nobleman, but who is disguised as a circus performer. And his trick in the circus is that he walks the tightrope at the top of the circus, masked and wearing a cape and playing the violin at the same time. So this is a very fun showpiece that Andy wrote, and
yeah, it's on YouTube. If you have time, you
the
can
circus friend.
Almost looks like Zorro to me. I don't know if anybody knows what Zorro. Yeah.
So instead of a sword, you have the violin bow.
Yeah. Well, it's similar. No? Yes. Yeah. Okay, next.
That's the premiere of the ballet, Five Stalks of Wheat. And we have Sasha Spielvogel-Breit in the middle, and she's a creator. So that was a 20-minute, it was not really, it was called Dance for Peace, and we worked on that almost for a year, she contacted me and she wanted to write this piece because, you know, people were so devastated, you know, with the war, and people wanted to say something and to support Ukraine. So she wrote this piece. She's a choreographer. So she wrote the piece, and we worked on that piece for a year, you know, tweaking the tunes, the melodies, and recording them. And there was wonderful performance, very, very moving.
That's great. Where is it?
Yes,
Where are you? Where?
That here, that's
This is St. Mark's in the Bowery. This is where it premiered last spring. This actually is as part of the same concert, that snippet of Postcards from Ukraine that you played. We also performed there, and part of the performance was also a bandura player, Yuliya Basis, and so that was a large fundraising event, and the ballet was premiered there as well. So the lady on the left in the headpiece and the skirt is the dancer who performed that solo dance, Felicia Norton, and like Andy said, in the middle is the choreographer, Sasha Spielberg.
Beautiful. Next.
Well,
that's what is that?
This is here. This is a salon concert in the neighborhood. We live in Washington Heights, and a beloved institution here in the neighborhood is that Hudson View Gardens, like the community, holds regular recitals. We've been a part of that many times, and this is just just before the full-scale invasion. Actually, this is a program of fun violin and piano miniatures. We played Martinu and Bartok and Shostakovich. That was a good recital there. Just, you know, just our bow afterwards.
Beautiful. It's nice moment.
And this is the same place, except this is the most recent performance. This is the very, very recent piece that I wrote. We just played it. That's my another. It was called Souvenir de Kalman. So after that, Circus Princess last year. So I wanted to do something more on the Kalmans, because he has such wonderful Hungarian melodies, you know, and they sound fabulously on violin. You know, just you just wanna play them like Siganar Weisen. So like Sarasate, this is so much inspiration there. So I wrote another piece, which is about 10 minutes, but you know, it's very Hungarian, very virtuoso violin piece.
Lots of charge.
There's a lot of charge.
Accelerates quite excitingly in the end.
Right. So that's recital in June.
Yep. You tell
this
them.
is our review and article about the Lost World Band in the Japanese magazine. That's yeah, the CC they made the whole article about us, and there's a review of the albums. Yeah, because the Japan actually, you know, the music that we play with the band is sort of described as a progressive rock fusion. This is the rock music which blends classical jazz. It's that kind of fusion, which is generally called progressive rock. That's what we do. And Japan actually was very supportive of that, you know, and all our CDs are selling in Japan, selling well. There's some special editions that were printed in Japan, and you know, I'm so happy that they sort of support what we do. I'm glad, you know, we sort of on the same music wave with that audience.
So this
2005.
Yes,
no, 2006.
Probably, yeah. So this is back in Moscow in the Ukrainian Culture Center. there when such things existed. We are taking part in the performance. It was put together by Dnipro Composer Association, Association, which Andy is a member of.
They brought the program.
Yes, and they performed. One of the performers or one of the composers for the performance was Andy's one of Andy's teachers from his hometown, and we played one of his early sonatas. So yeah, it's wild to think that we cannot go to Moscow because we're playing Ukrainian music and Ukraine.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope it's gonna change.
Oh, so this is me again. These are my pictures with my very recently departed, very dear piano professor from Moscow Conservatory, Alexander Mdoyants. Actually, today's the 8th. It's exactly 1 month since he passed away, and I was not at all prepared. We stayed in touch. We had a wonderful relationship. I always sent him, when I wrote to him to say happy birthday, happy new year, I always would throw in a video of our performance, and he always found the kindest, most supportive words. And so the last words I have from him are the words of encouragement and support and and praise from him. So very precious. He he made me the pianist that I am. He shaped me as a person a lot. That's what our teachers do.
Yeah.
That's what we try to do. And I am very, very sorry. In the last months of his life, I did not know that he was ill, and I was completely unprepared. Well, I am very thankful to have had him in the conservatory.
Beautiful. Sorry for your loss, Yuliya.
Thank you. Yes, this is us rehearsing Ravel's piano concerto, G major concerto, for my graduation. Oh, okay. You tell this one.
Well,
you tell this one.
No, you tell. That's the me, Yuliya, and then it's Sir Paul McCartney.
Yes.
Don't tell me he came to your rock concert, did he?
No. Say, well, I'm going to bring the bass. Let's jump.
We played for him, actually. We were playing postcards. We were rehearsing postcards at that performance space. That's very new performance space.
Perlman performance.
That's a Perlman performance space. We were just opened. What is it last?
It was last August, and it was the soft opening. Andy was booked to play in the in there for the soft opening in the Refugee Orchestra project, and.
Yes, so basically we were rehearsing the postcards there, and they sort of came to check out the space, right? But it's one of those moments when you're rehearsing, and then suddenly the door opens and Paul McCartney walks in, and he listens and what are you guys playing? Okay, we wrote this and we're playing this, and he turned out, me being such a Beatles
Beatlemaniac,
right?
That is funny. Yeah.
That was a fantastic moment. And when you meet your idol basically, and you realize he's just nice, warm person that you can talk to, and talk about music. It's a wonderful moment.
Yeah.
He sat at the piano and played the opening.
You played.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a great moment for us.
Oh, that's it. Okay. And next on our program is the piece. Please tell us what it is after from your band. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
reminds me, I don't know what you intended, but it very movie-like music to me, like the soundtrack, James Bond, I don't know, something really cool, something very cool. Yes, tell us what it is about, what inspired you. Yeah.
Yeah, this thing is called the Trajectory 3. There's also Trajectory 1 and 2, and this is the third one. Yeah, that's the CD we released in 2002. Yes, but this is our sort of the idea of our fusion. You can see there's the violin there is solo and the flutes doing solo. That's the original idea. The violin and flute actually being rock instruments. That's unusual a little bit. And I don't know, it doesn't, of course, it doesn't sound like classic rock. It sounds strange, but that's the fusion. That's how we see our place in that on the field, so it's not, we cannot really, being fans of, say, Stravinsky and Bartok, you cannot really play just 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's also always like 5 or 7. And,
Yeah.
Strange times.
Yeah, strange time signatures.
Yes.
And no, I like that. That was also published by a Japanese publishing company.
Did you see how cool his electric violin looked? Do you have it? You can show it.
I have
Look.
3 violin. Yeah, this one.
Yeah, you can show this one.
Yeah. I have also this one. Looks like. Yes, I have another Yamaha, but this one's really cool. It has it can glow in the dark.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. A pop-up question. One word that best describes you, Yuliya.
That describes me?
You.
Oh,
One word.
that is for other people to say. I mean, I hope it's gotta be loving or loyal, things like this.
She's like the best friend and the accompanist the violin player can get.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. And what about you? Best word describes you.
Oh, that I don't know. Maybe
I don't know. Creative is what you.
I thought about that. Yeah, it would be good actually, because every second, you just wanna write a little bit things and play different instruments. Creative would be good.
Sounds great. Well, it was wonderful having you guys. Thank you so much for joining us at our online program. We wish you all the best and all your projects and performances and recordings and compositions and more. And thanks everyone for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. So long.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.